It's your number one educating, interactive, and entertaining program. Let's gist with teenagers. Today we'll be discussing a very crucial topic, self-discovery and purpose. But before we go on, we'd like to take a short break. Keep your fingers crossed. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. With me in the studio today is Mr. Fejiro Samuel, a youth trainer and a public speaker, and of course my wonderful audience to help us discuss this very important topic. Like I said earlier, self-discovery and purpose is an ancient question of discussion and probably the most asked question. Today we want to know why it is very important for teenagers to have their own identity. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir, can we meet you?
Okay, my name is Samuel Fejiro, and I'm a public speaker, a trainer, and a graduate from the University of Benin. And I work in pharmaceuticals, and basically that's who I am.
Okay, that's nice, sir. So what can you say is self-discovery and purpose?
Right, self-discovery basically is a knowledge of you, getting to know your abilities and characteristics and the things that you can do without too much of stress or duress.
Okay, so would you now say self-discovery and purpose mean the same thing?
Your purpose is actually what you're meant to do in life, and both of them work hand in hand. I wouldn't say self-discovery and purpose mean the same. What I would say is that you have to self-discover yourself before you can move on to achieving your purpose. If you don't discover yourself, there will be no room for you to say you want to make directions towards your purpose.
Okay, it's important I know what I was created for.
Yes.
No, then when I know my identity, I would know what I was created for, and then that's where I'd be able to work.
Very well.
Okay, so for teenagers now, I understand that the world is filled with distractions and a whole lot of things. For teenagers now that live their life, because most teenagers actually live their life by the court of public opinion, what would you advise? How can they begin? How would they get to find their identity?
Okay, one of the things I truly believe is that we should not allow our lives to chances. And as young persons, as teenagers, it's very important that they understand that there are things that they need to do or need to know at the early stages of their life. And those things will be not telling towards the direction of peer pressure towards what society throws at you, but actually looking inwards in what you really feel is best for you. Every teenager have already come to the point where you understand what your life is already. If you're a teenager, you should know exactly what you want from life. You know, it's not really easy because of the times we find ourselves. We have so many things around social media. We have people, we have friends, and we want to also be in that group. But basically, what we need to do as teenagers at the early stage of our life is to look inwards to what we can do without stress, to what we enjoy doing. Look inwards to finding something that gives you peace and that doesn't cause too much trouble to people around. Okay. And with that, you can get a very good start.
Okay. So what are those steps for self-discovery for a teenager?
Okay, one of the things that maybe on this part of the world has not given to us is the ability for us to not totally look into other options apart from schooling. Okay. Now, let's see, in some other part of the world, what people do is that they look at the child and they figure out what is this child going to go through the normal formal education or go through some other form of education. Now, it's very important that a child or a teenager understands that if I can't do the formal education, I need to pay attention to something else. So what they need to do at that early stage is to sit down, and the first step is self-awareness. You must be aware of who you are, aware of what you want to achieve in life, where you want to get to in the near future. And then if you know, okay, for instance, let's say you want to be an engineer, and that's what your drive is at early stage, the first thing you need to do is to sit down and understand, okay, what are the steps I need to go through to get there. Another thing is that one of the things that we've lacked again in this early age is the ability to seek for mentors at our early age. Our first mentors should be supposed to be our parents, but most times they fail in that duty. I would say that, and then so it's essential you look out to people who are already been on the path that you are trying to take. I think that's the very first important step. Also, look for a mentor and allow that person guide you and tell you, okay, these are the steps to take. These are the mistakes I made. You don't need to go through this path. And so some persons will have to go the right way because they pick the right mentors at the early age.
Okay. Yeah. But the process in the quest of looking for a role models, I've discovered that some teenagers forget their originality and begin to act like these persons. I don't know. Do you have anything to say about that?
Okay, I think a very good mentor will always allow a mentee to be their self.
Okay.
And guide them through.
Okay.
Allow them be what they really enjoy to be. But what you should do is to give them instructions and tell them this path you're going is not actually the right path. This thing you want to do now would not lead you to the right direction. Or wait, this is not the right time to do this. You don't necessarily need to push them into your own self, because you cannot have two persons that are the same. Every person is different. Even if I want to become a doctor, the way I will end up practicing is going to be very different from the way another person is going to practice. So you need to allow them be themselves, but just guide them through.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. We'll continue after this short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The discussion is getting interesting here. Remember, we are discussing self-discovery and purpose. So now, sir, over to you. So what can you tell our parents, or what would you say about parents interfering with their children's identity?
Okay, I would say come back to the thing I first said earlier in the show, that in this part of the world, our parents are not really helping matters. A child will want to become a musician, but the parents want the child to become an engineer. And so, or probably the parents of the child is a lawyer, they will always want the child to through that same path. But the truth of the matter is that every child should be allowed to do what they enjoy doing. I give a very good example. There's a musician popularly known as Faust, studied law in university, but currently he's doing music. Now, if his parents didn't allow him to do what he enjoyed doing, he wouldn't be where he is today. I had a friend in school whose parents told him that he must become an engineer. When he was done with engineering, he went to the house and gave his parents the certificate. I said, "These are my certificate. I want to play football." And that was how he left. So the parents must listen to what the children want to do, hear them out. And actually, you can also look at the child as the child is growing up and see the things that the child is doing. Some children, they are already losing the electronics in the house while they are young and do a lot of things. You know that, okay, they are tech directed and all that. So just pay attention to the children and allow them be what they want to be, while you're giving them parental guidance, spiritual guidance, financial guidance, making sure they get the best out of life. And then again, the parents must also consider the fact that the world is changing, and so we must guide our children to follow the times that we have found ourselves, so that they don't go and pick something that will not even help them in life. So it's a two-way thing. The child might be taking something that is totally off guard with the times that we find ourselves. It is important that they bring them back and do proper guidance and counseling and help them in the right path.
Okay. Yeah. So what would be your advice to teenagers that are faced with these issues? My parent does not want to hear me out, and what would you advise them do?
Talk to your parents. We must sit down to hear our children. It's important that children, you listen to them. because they always want to communicate. The moment they can't communicate, that is when most times they go in the wrong direction. So listen to them, they should try and talk to their parents, sit down and communicate. If there are no headways, they should find someone that can also help them talk to their parents.
Okay.
If the pressure is so much. And if they've done all that, I think, and I'm very sure, that somehow there will be a way around it for them to come out of it and do what they want. As they grow older, as you grow into older ages, you realize that you become much more determined to get what you want with increase in age and to face some things in life. So you can talk to your parents and go after what you want.
Okay.
But communication is key.
Okay. So you're saying they have to be determined first, so that they would be on that path and be able to talk to their parents.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. We have a wonderful audience here, and then it's time to hear their views, know if they have questions concerning this topic of discussion, because knowing who you are, it's very, very important. Let's hear what our audience have to say.
My name is Peculiar Audu. I'm a student of the Federal University of Technology, Mina, and I'm also a lover of God. Concerning our topic for today, which is self-discovery and purpose, I think self-discovery and purpose are connected in a way. We've had situations of people who go to school and later, after graduating, do not really put their certificate into use, because that is not really what they derive pleasure in doing. I think purpose is, we can only discover our purpose when we go to God. He alone has Him alone has something in store for us that we can really put into use and then find happiness and enjoy doing. Secondly, concerning our parents interfering with our God-given talents and then our purpose, I don't think is a very, very nice idea. Many of our parents, they want us to be doctors and then they want us to be engineers of today. We cannot all be engineers and then doctors of our time. Now, I have a friend who, when he was younger, he was into art. He always loved drawing and then doing all those artwork. But his mother always rebuked him and then always tells him to go and do something else or go and read. And so for today, the guy is making it real time. He's making it in dollars. He's making it big time. And then the parents are happy today. So if he had not continued in what he loved and then enjoyed doing, he wouldn't have been where he is today. So I think our parents should help us to grow ourselves in what we really find pleasure doing. It's not everybody that is called to be doctors and then everybody that will be engineers of our time. Our parents need to have the mindset, need to have the understanding that if you see your child loving football at a younger age, you should encourage him. Our parents now, they don't want us to. They don't even encourage us. Like if you see your child singing now, you just be telling them, what are you singing? Well, what are you singing? What are you? You're not really doing this. But if you encourage your child and then put him in the right way, let him build what God has put into him. Let him build it up. That alone can make him to be wherever he wants to be. But if you are pushing him to go and be an engineer when he doesn't have interest, he cannot be the best in that field. But training him up in what God has put in him can make him grow beyond your imaginations. So that's what I have to say concerning parents interfering with what God has really put in us and our self-giving, our talents. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Peculiar. Can we hear you, Pressure? Do you have anything to say?
Yes.
William.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Williams Idoko. I just want to contribute concerning this issue of saying that every child should be allowed to do what they want to study or to go for whatever course. I think this particular issue mostly plays out in, let's say, people that are well-to-do, in rich families or in developed countries, where you see parents allowing their children to go for whatever course they choose. But coming over to the average Nigerian per se, or to an average person that's just coming up and wants to study a course, many parents are of the opinion that their children should get something that is worth doing, something that can put food on the table, because especially considering how our country is going. Like if I had a child per se that wanted to study music, let's say the child is musically inclined, as a parent, I am rather of the opinion that parents don't necessarily force their opinions on us per se. Although we have extreme cases where parents do so, but what most parents do is that they guide their children along the right path. I feel musical lessons can be obtained. You can get your child enrolled in a private class for lessons in music and the rest of them in instruments. But when it comes to allowing the child to go and study the course, especially in a country like Nigeria, we know that it's not really something that can put food on the table per se. Studying music in Nigeria is almost out of line. So what most parents do is that they guide us in line. They tell us, okay, why don't you do this course, or why don't you try this particular issue? Then if at all you want to go towards this area, then it will help you. Then we also have seen cases of so many persons that are studying and maybe end up not using theirs, like let's say Fowles now. Fowles is a secular artist. He studied law and ended up, now he's doing music. We also have Dr. C, who is a medical doctor, and now he's into music. Well, I feel those persons that ended up like a good number of them, like I said earlier, they are people from rich homes, from wealthy homes. Such persons are already established per se. So whatever they do doesn't really matter. Whatever course they choose doesn't necessarily matter. But coming over to the average Nigerian, we mostly have to do something that can put food on our table tomorrow, something that we can leave a legacy for our children, something that they can benefit from. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Wina, do you have anything to say?
Okay, I have more like a contribution. My name is Wina Idoko, and concerning the self-discovery and purpose, I think parents should be allowed to choose career for their children, because we've seen cases of when children don't really have what they want to become in future, and in most cases like that, they end up following their friends or to do what they think their friend wants to become. So in such cases, if parents are not allowed to choose career for their children, they end up becoming what is not really what they want to become. So when they follow their friends, for instance, their friend is going to art class, because such a child don't have purpose or what he or she wants to become, you follow that friend to art class, and really that art class might not be your calling. So if your parents should guide you on what you should become, it will help you not to make mistakes. So you should just follow your parents, and it really helps a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before we round up, let's listen to Precious Audo.
What I have to say is more like a question. Concerning self-discovery and purpose, like I'm a music lover, and I also want to be a journalist. I want to know how that can really blend, how to go about it.
Okay, there is not just one thing that is meant to be done by an individual in life. For me, I personally went to school, did environmental and animal biology, specialized in ecotoxicology, left school, went into pharmaceuticals, and I'm into project management, digital marketing. You can do a whole lot of things. Just make sure you are not distracted. You can be a musician and also become a journalist. There are a lot of persons who diversify when it comes to picking careers. When you talk about picking careers in life, do what you know you are meant to do. Don't just do anything that comes your way. If you can start up at a different level as you keep on moving in life, a lot of things changes. You realize that at a particular age you have a flair for something else. You can incorporate it to what you're doing. There are a lot of people who are journalists and musicians. I wish I could pick one or two examples for you, but take a very good example, like someone like AY. AY is an MC, master of ceremony, and also a comedian. A master's into it. And a very good example is Ebuka. Ebuka is a very good example and a very good presenter. So you can do a whole lot different things at the same time, but just make sure you're not making mistakes and you're not choking yourself. That's just it.
Thank you, sir. Knowing who you are and what you want in a world filled with distractions as a teenager will help you have a path in life. I believe you've been enlightened about the topic of discussion, self-discovery and purpose. Don't forget to like our YouTube page at News 24 International and subscribe as well. Also on our Facebook page, News 24 International. Many thanks for staying with us. Until next time, I remain your host, Idoko Favor.